Surrender or Die. Hello, huge movie fanatic Nate, stopping on by. This time I'm coming at you for a movie review for a movie released in 1981 by the name of Enter the Ninja. Whoa! First off, I feel I should mention for you young viewers out there who weren't alive in the 1980s in North America, basically that decade, maybe mid to late 80s, was like the ninja hysteria decade in North America, maybe mid to late 80s. I can remember going to Target stores in the late 80s, 88, maybe 87, 88, 89-ish, and in the toy section, there's a whole aisle, like just, or at least the side of a whole aisle, one of the sides of a whole aisle was just basically dedicated to plastic ninja toys, swords, nunchucks, Chinese stars, all these kinds of different ninja weapons and stuff, that one kind of wooden stick with the flip-up blade, a lot of stuff I wish I would have actually, would have gotten, but I mean, obviously being 10, 11, 12-year-old at the time, my funds were limited, but I just wish that, it's probably somewhere on the internet, but I mean, I just wish I would have just had some kind of a thought to like take Polaroid pictures of the ninja toy aisle. I mean, when you're a kid, you just assume, well, this is how it is now, this is how it's always going to be, but just like, it's just such a happy thought of just the Target toy aisle with all the plastic ninja weapons. Honestly, I really owe a big, huge debt to a childhood friend, childhood buddy of mine from the 80s by the name of Willie. He got me into a lot of this violent movie stuff when I was at a young age, maybe 7, 8, 9, maybe like 8 or 9, 10 years old and stuff. I can't remember exactly when he showed me films like American Ninja and Commando. Then I'd go on to discover Revenge of the Ninja myself. I grew up with 11, 12 years old with a big, huge ninja fandom, and the ninja movies that I grew up with were basically just two films, American Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja. Good old Willie introduced me to American Ninja, and I think I found Revenge of the Ninja myself at the video store, but I mean, I just love American Ninja. I think it's a really great film, and Revenge of the Ninja is really great as well. And I was aware of Enter the Ninja. I mean, I saw the video box at the video store in the day. For some reason, I wasn't interested enough to see it at the time, and I actually wouldn't go on to see Enter the Ninja until, oh shoot, normally there's a price tag on here with a year. Okay, so I have no idea, but I blind buyed this probably for $1 back at some point. This is the original North American VHS release of Enter the Ninja on MGM UA Home Video. I'll do a separate video showcasing this, but usually I must have peeled the price tag off, but usually the year of the, when I bought things is on the year, which is, you're on the tag, which is really helpful, but no tag here. So I didn't grow up with this film. I didn't see it until I was probably in my, I don't know, mid to late 30s or something like that. And honestly, it's my least favorite of basically the Ninja trilogy, which is really kind of goofy because they're really not. These films really aren't related and don't have characters that continue over or anything like that. I think the only through line thing is Sho Kosugi, I want to say, is in all three of these. Enter the Ninja. Basically, if you don't know, there's a kind of a ninja trilogy from the Canon film group that produced all these movies, and they go on to produce American Ninja and the sequels as well. But I think these were some of the first ninja films, if not the first ninja films that Canon was doing at the time, and honestly might have been a handful of the films that really started the ninja craze in North America. But you've got from 1981 Enter the Ninja, from 83 Revenge of the Ninja, and then 84 Ninja 3 The Domination. And I think the only thing that kind of is present in all three films, I want to say, is Sho Kosugi. I'm pretty sure he's got involvement in Ninja 3. I'm not very familiar with that film. Obviously, he's the star of Revenge of the Ninja, but not having grown up with this movie, I regard it as, I didn't grow up with Ninja 3 either, but I think I enjoy Ninja 3 more just because the main character is kind of that hot athletic ninja chick. But yeah, honestly, as much as I want to love this movie, I really can't, and I'll get into the reasons why, obviously, in this video. What's really cool about this movie is how it starts. The opening credits are really freaking awesome with really cool music, and basically I want to say it's Sho Kosugi in full black ninja garb, basically doing, all kinds of fancy schmancy tricks with ninja weaponry, like the main ninja weaponry, sword, nunchucks, sai, I don't think he throws a Chinese star in the opening credits. I'm not 100% sure. I know he blows a blowgun and he shoots an arrow. Can't remember if he throws a Chinese star or not, but the opening credits are basically just Sho Kosugi, black ninja garb, just doing ninja stuff, nunchucks, all this kind of fancy schmancy ninja stuff while the credits are going on, on the screen and stuff. Cool ninja font, cool ninja music, and honestly, when I first saw this on probably that VHS tape that I blind buyed for probably $1 back in the day, I was like, wow, this is so cool. I wish I would have seen this as a kid, watching the opening credits, and then it proceeds to go into this kind of ninja action scene with Franco Nero as the main star. And what's interesting about Cannon and their ninja films, this one and the American Ninja film and sequels and stuff, is that it's so funny how they have, ninjas obviously originate from Japan and stuff, and it's really kind of funny how some of the more popular Cannon ninja films have like a Caucasian as the main ninja star. That's the story of this film, Franco Nero obviously being a Caucasian, quote-unquote, for all intents and purposes, white guy. And what's interesting is he's even in a white ninja get-up, which is kind of interesting, and Sho Kosugi is in a black ninja get-up, and that's kind of interesting that they have the white ninja dressed in white. But after the beginning credits, it's really kind of a cool ninja action scene where, the main star, the Franco Nero character, is just kicking ninja ass and goes and enters this compound and cuts this character's head off, and only to find out that this whole thing was just basically maybe the final test of him becoming a ninja. And this kind of enrages the show. Sho Kosugi character was a part of the whole training and possibly the last test for Franco Nero character to go through to become the final step to become a ninja. Sho Kosugi's kind of pissed off. He's no ninja. That this white guy, this Franco Nero guy, became a ninja and sent him. And while he's over where he is, like obviously he studied ninjutsu and became a ninja in some place in Asia or whatever, the East and stuff. I think while he's there, he goes to, after he gets his ninja badge, if you will, and the ninja certificate of ninja-ness, he basically visits a friend from the war, goes to his plantation or big house or whatever, where this guy is doing pretty well. And I want to say, one thing I want to not forget to mention is this guy, this friend of Frank, the main character, Franco Nero, the guy who plays him, and I don't know, the character and the guy who they got to play him was kind of perfect, because the character is really kind of sorry ass and impotent, kind of just character who's like a has-been, who is no longer really has any life left in him. He's just a drunk because of the situation where he's getting harassed by these. Christopher George plays the bad guy in this film, and he doesn't have a lot of. Christopher George I just love him in everything I see him, and he's so funny in this. I think this is like one of the only movies I can remember seeing Christopher George as a bad guy. Incidentally, Christopher George in the opening credits and also on the VHS cover there has the old square box. Well, most boxes are square, but the box around his name, and that's something that, I guess from what I understand, an actor back in the day, I don't know if they really do it anymore, but an actor back in the 80s could request a box around their name. It's something that you can see in other credits and stuff. Like the only other movie I can think of is Don't Go in the Woods, Angie Brown. It's so funny how maybe it's because that box is around her name that I can even remember her name from Don't Go in the Woods. But it's something that was practiced maybe in the 80s. I want a box around my name because I feel important. What's so funny about Don't Go in the Woods is no one knows who any of those people are, and obviously at the time or even now or anything like that. And it's so funny that Angie Brown, being just a no one at the time and still a no one. Sorry, Angie, if you're watching. I doubt you are, but I'm sure your friends and family, you're important to your friends and family and stuff, and thank you for your contribution. Don't Go in the Woods, I appreciate it. But it's so funny how they, just, I don't know, it just felt like, it's just so arrogant kind of, and just self-important, and like, here, can you put a box around my name? I don't think I've ever seen an instance where there's been credits where there's a box around someone's name, and then no one, and then no box, and then another box. It seems like there's always just one box around one name. I don't think I've ever seen more than one box in one movie. But anyway, Christopher George plays a kind of a funny bad guy in this movie, and I don't know, it could be walking the line between, I don't know if this character is straight or if he's unstraight, if you know what I mean. He wears the first time you see Christopher George's character is wearing, I don't know if it's supposed to be like an Asian kind of garb, but it's something that could be, a lot of stuff he wears in the movie could be considered, you know, women's clothes or blouse or whatever, but it kind of makes you wonder if they had Christopher George intentionally play this character a little that way, if you know what I mean. But basically the whole premise of this movie, and this is why I just can't really get on board with Enter the Ninja very much, because you got really cool ninja action at the beginning, and then the whole middle of the movie is just this kind of soap opera drama about Franco Nero going to visit his war buddy, him being a drunk, impotent, washed up drunk, and his hot, you know, kind of blonde wife, played by Susan George, no relation that I'm aware of to Christopher George, you know, kind of busty, blonde, hot wife who, you know, wants it all the time, but Mr. Impotent can't deliver, so enter, it's so funny, Enter the Ninja, it's like, yeah, enter in more ways than one. Franco Nero, off camera, you know, services his old war buddy's wife, if you will, which is kind of interesting, in a very romantic scene where, you know, she enters his bedroom and he turns off the light and that's it. You know, the good old days. It's funny because back then they were, a lot of times there was sex scenes, toplessness. I don't know, for whatever reason there's none in this, but the whole premise of this movie, which I find kind of boring, and obviously the reason they did it is just to keep the budget low and stuff, is, you know, the Christopher George bad guy character wants to buy the land off, you know, this guy who owns this, you know, impotent guy with the blonde busty wife who owns this plantation or whatever, where has a lot of people help him with farming and stuff like that, because there's, you know, unbeknownst to the, you know, I don't think the impotent guy knows that there's a bunch of oil underneath the land. Christopher George wants the land to, you know, to obviously access the oil underneath. Christopher George is just probably well, in the 80s, you can be a multi-millionaire and still be living pretty good. So I don't know if he owns this whole building. You know, Christopher George's compound is kind of this strange looking. This movie takes place, I think, in Manila. I would assume it's filmed there as well, I want to say. But there's this really cool kind of circular building with these two, you know, like external elevators that are constantly going up and down. It's kind of like Christopher George's, you know, building, if you will. And Christopher George, you know, this whole movie is just based around Christopher George wanting the guy's land, and them kind of thwarting off, you know, constantly just dealing with these bullies. This one kind of Quasimodo guy with a hook, who's one of the funnest things in the movie, and for my money, they're really not in the movie enough as far as I'm concerned. That guy's kind of funny. And you know, my problem with this movie is just like there's really cool ninja stuff at the beginning and then the end, but I mean during the whole middle of it, I mean, you don't see a ninja. And then I was comparing it to American Ninja. It's just like, well, Michael, you know, Dudikoff doesn't get into the ninja garb until the end, but the great thing about American Ninja is you've constantly got, you know, ninjas going after him. So, you know, full, you know, the whole movie is full ninja garb, ninjas going after Dudikoff in American Ninja. And the thing I don't like about this is it's just like ninja beginning, ninja end, and just the, you know, the whole rest of the middle of it's just kind of like soap opera BS. And you know, there's you know, hand-to-hand combat, kind of half-ass fight scenes, Franco Nero kicking ass, you know, just with, you know, not in ninja garb, and the people he's beating up aren't ninjas, and it's just kind of like, I mean, I can, you know, part of me understands you want to save the ninja stuff for like the end or whatever, makes it more impactful, which is, I guess, kind of true, but I just assume, like with American Ninja, just as soon see more ninjas throughout the course of the movie. And honestly, that whole plot point is just not interesting, and it's just a back and forth between, you know, just you know, Christopher George character bullying him and this and that. They eventually end up killing Mr. Impotent, and oh, that's one thing that's really kind of cool about this movie, like the last third of it or whatever, that you know, Christopher George keeps hiring people to kill Franco Nero character, who I want to say his character's name is Cole, I want to say, and no one can do it, so then he's just like, you know, he's like, 20 people can't kill this one guy, so then he hires a ninja. He ends up just by coincidence hiring Sho Kosugi character, and of course Sho Kosugi character has no problem going after, you know, this Cole character, trying to kill him because he doesn't think he's a real ninja in the first place. So Sho comes into the movie. Sho shows up, you know, last third of the movie or whatever, in his black ninja garb. And honestly, when he shows up doing stuff and killing people. He kills the impotent friend and stuff. You know, the last third of the film is a little more interesting than, you know, I guess the first 2/3 or whatever. I mean, the first scene with the ninja credits and ninja scene is cool, but, you know, all the other stuff is really not interesting to me. So obviously you have a showdown. You know, this movie is probably relatively low budget because unfortunately you spend the whole movie waiting for ninja action at the end, and honestly, compared to movies that they produce later on, like American Ninja and things like that, even Revenge of the Ninja, which would be the second film in this kind of trilogy, if you will. It's so strange to me that they consider these three movies a trilogy, because there's really no characters that continue throughout the whole, you know, the course of the three films or anything. So it's just weird to me. So what I was getting at was you know, you spend the whole movie waiting for ninja action, and when it comes towards the end, and it's, you know, Cole, you know, basically after his impotent friend is killed, and also the blonde chick that you know, he basically serviced, he performed Enter the Ninja on, he gets kidnapped. It's so funny how, you know, back in the 30s and 40s, all the you know, movies, radio shows, and this and that, pulp novels. I mean, the thing was the girl in distress, you know, and it's so funny how even like the early 80s, it's the same thing. We're just going to kidnap the helpless girl and, you know, hold her ransom, and you come get her, you asshole, and whatever. But it's funny because I just rewatched it now, this film, and it's just like, I don't know, you know, the end in theory should be kind of epic because he ninja gears up in his white ninja suit and puts as many weapons in his belt and, you know, around him and over his shoulder and this and that as he can possibly, you know, carry and this and that. But it's just the end scene. I mean, it just, I don't know. I guess compared to what, you know, Cannon Films would offer, you know, in the future after this movie, I mean, they just upped the ante so much in, you know, Revenge of the Ninja and possibly even Ninja 3 and American Ninja and so many of these other films that the ante is just upped so much more that, you know, the end scene of this movie it just doesn't do anything for me. And honestly, I do wish I would have grown up with this, because I probably still wouldn't like it as much as the other films, but I'd probably say I'd like it more because of just, you'd have that aspect of like, ooh, this is, you know, whatever, it's nostalgia, and, you know, reminds me of being a kid or whatever. So it is interesting how I grew up with, you know, Revenge of the Ninja, the second film in the trilogy, but the first and third films I didn't see until I was older, like in my 30s, which is interesting. But I'm grateful to have grown up with American Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja. So, you know, the showdown is, you know, kind of lackluster, not that epic compared to what ninja movies they'd end up producing in following later years. But, you know, obviously it's rescue the girl and kill. It is interesting how he basically kills Christopher George before, and, you know, and then after he kills Christopher George, you've got the battle between Sho Kosugi and Franco Nero, and, you know, same thing. It's like they fight in the ring, and it's really not that long of a fight. Like, if you compare this to the ninja action at the end of Revenge of the Ninja, I mean, it's probably like only half of, you know, the ninja stuff in Revenge of the Ninja is so freaking cool. But again, maybe that's because I grew up with it, I don't know. But still, I mean, if you watch these two movies back to back, I mean, anyone's got to come away with that. You know, the end of Revenge of the Ninja just seems to go on and on and on and on that building rooftop and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I just, you know, as much as I want to love this, there's not a lot of ninja action in Enter the Ninja, I'm afraid. Oh yeah, before I wrap up this review, I want to mention that Will Hare, the guy who played Grandpa in the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, plays a character that one guy would go on. The same kind of character that what's-his-name played in Missing in Action, kind of the older guy who's helpful, you know, the sidekick guy who's a part of the two, you know, in this case, the two younger guys. You got Franco Nero and impotent war buddy, and you got Will Hare, kind of the older guy who's a little bit, you know, he's the guy who, you know, is a town folk, and he's got a little business there in town, and he can help out as well. So it's really funny. I wish, you know, I wish I could have seen this while my dad was still around. He would have had fun seeing Will Hare in a different role, because I think, you know, when my dad was still around, the only other movie we could think of that we saw Will Hare in was Back to the Future. So it's a bummer that I probably didn't see this until, you know, my dad is no longer around. He'd probably have fun with seeing Will Hare in a different kind of role, and, you know, much bigger role. So that's something I didn't want to forget to mention. We've got Grandpa from Silent Night, Deadly Night in this film as a kind of a camouflage wearing helpful guy. It's funny how he's got nude pictures and inside of this jacket side and crosses on the inside of this jacket side. He's just a salesman who's just will sell anything to get a buck. I think his name is, I want to say his character's name is Dollars or something, because he's got a Dollars little store thing, just a little thing in town or whatever, just a little stand where he just sells junk or whatever. But yeah, it's really cool to see Will Hare in a more of a supporting kind of a role with more dialogue and stuff like that. I'm sure he's in a bunch of stuff. It's just, even when you're a huge movie fanatic, it's hard to see everything. So I guess that'll pretty much do it, I suppose, for my review of Enter the Ninja. As much as I want to love it, I can't really love it because it's mostly just whatchamacallit, kind of soap opera stuff. I'll go as high as 2 stars out of 4 stars for Enter the Ninja, just because it's got that, early 80s charm. Franco Nero's fun. One of the things that's kind of annoying about this movie is a lot of people seem to be dubbed. I would imagine that's not Franco Nero's voice. I don't know, I don't know if the guy who voices the impotent friend, if that's his real voice or not, but I'm pretty sure it's Susan George's real voice, and obviously it's Christopher George's real voice. But I think this movie is basically just, I think maybe they did the Italian thing where they just shoot with no sound and just loop all the dialogue and stuff, because I don't think there's any of the dialogue that's, recorded on set or whatever, so that's a little off-putting, but it also kind of makes it fun, especially when Sho Kosugi is talking. I would imagine that's not his voice, and he is no ninja, and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, underwhelming compared to what Canon will, put out in the future, and Ninja Fair and Revenge of the Ninja, Ninja 3, American Ninja, all this kind of stuff. So I guess that pretty much does it for my review of Enter the Ninja. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, we'll catch you on the next video.
Dun 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 dun. Joe, we need you back at headquarters. It's urgent. You'll find out when you get there.
Well, should I bring this helmet back?
It's a fake. That's what we want to tell you. Don't worry about it. Just like the Joe, you're here. I'm glad you can make it.
Yeah. Had some trouble getting that phony.
Hey, we're sorry. The Federation doesn't make up what's real and what's not. The only problem is right now, we gotta get it. That's the most important thing. We gotta get it. And it's not we. We'll have a few other men helping you out, like communication, but it's you, Joe. You'll be paid $200 million if you can succeed. If you get caught and captured and say anything, we will deny to the president that we had any part to do with this. So you better just do your best. 200 mil. I don't make that much in a day. I make it in 2 days. Beautiful day out, Joe. That's why I want you to use...
The day for my weapon.
Yes. I was gonna say your color changing suit, but I forgot. That's under repairs.
That's dumb anyway.
Yeah, it is. Forget the color change suit. It's not been, sometimes it functions like that. Joe,
Yeah.
move out.
Yeah.